This is episode 77 of the Battle of Ohio podcast. The Bengals are taking some much-needed rest after falling apart the last 2 weeks. The whole season's still in front of them, but they kind of need to kick it into high gear starting next week. The Browns are preparing for a big game against the New England Patriots that could have major playoff implications because Patriots currently possess what both the Bengals and the Browns want right now, which is a playoff spot. Don't forget, both the Bengals and the Browns right now, if the playoffs started today, would not be in the playoffs. I believe.
A lot of season left.
Yeah, there's a lot of season left. I think both the Bengals and the Browns will make it, but right now they are not in. Steelers are. Speaking of the Steelers needed bogus, taunting, and low block penalties to beat the Bears. Because why, Thomas?
Because the Steelers and those refs for Monday night suck.
You suck, Tony Correnti.
You suck, Pittsburgh.
Welcome to the Battle of Ohio podcast, where we follow the revival of the historic rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
All right, so what you drinking tonight, Thomas?
Well, for one, I'm drinking a Fago, but that ain't the main drink of choice today. The main drink of choice is Labatt Blue, and it's because I just wanted to say, well, no, it's because the New England Patriots, they ain't all of that, they Labatt. New England isn't all that, they Labatt. So, okay, I'll overuse that joke now.
I am drinking a Bat Squatch because I forgot to go to the store. Like the Bengals, I keep forgetting to do my job.
So what you're saying, Kyle, is you're not all that, you're a bat.
Moving on. Let's start out with the Cleveland Browns this week, since honestly they have probably the more interesting story to talk about because they're actually playing this week. They're traveling to New England to play the Patriots, which is historically a very difficult place to play. Foxborough, Massachusetts is. Now, granted, that was a lot of that probably had to do with the dominance of the Brady-Belichick era, but the Patriots are on the come up again. So the only thing is, like, allegedly, from what I've heard, it sounds like home field advantage hasn't been as big of a deal in the NFL this year as it has been in recent years. So, I mean, who knows if that's actually going to be a advantage for the Patriots or not. But, I mean, I don't know, Thomas. It gets pretty cold up there in New England. Do you think the Browns can handle the cold weather?
I mean, that lake. Cleveland, the whole lake area only freezes over. Like the entire lake just freezes. Cleveland don't get that cold though.
May have been a slight joke.
Man, I mean, like on the low, like all right. So Browns fans travel well, so they're gonna be some Browns fans at the stadium. The stadium gonna be loud. I give them that, but I don't think that's gonna be the intimidating factor. What I want to see, though, is this Browns defense starting to come together a little more. You know, now you got Takk McKinley, Jadeveon Clowney, and Myles Garrett all playing together. Myles Garrett's having a hell of a season. Like, his numbers this season are unreal. And that's something that Bill Belichick will have to scheme for. But, you know, he's not the offensive coordinator, so Mike Daniels, you know, get ready. You know, so Jadeveon Clowney, he's been doing his job, and Takk McKinley's making plays. Now you got Denzel Ward playing at elite level. Greg Newsome's playing better than he ever been playing, and John Johnson. They're going to be a fit for this rookie quarterback going this week. They're going to be a problem for this rookie quarterback going this week. I think that usually I would say Bill Belichick is great against young quarterbacks, but Baker Mayfield ain't a young quarterback anymore. This is what Baker Mayfield's fourth year in the league now, and
Denzel Ward could have a good game this week if he doesn't get his ankles broken before he can get on the field. because Mac Jones is on the hunt for hurting some defensive players.
What do you mean by that?
Did you not see what happened last week?
No.
Mac Jones grabbed what was I forget Brian Burns. He grabbed Brian when they were playing the Panthers. He grabbed Brian Burns' ankle and twisted it. Right after the dude sacked him. And had a strip sack fumble, and Mac Jones claims he's like, "Oh, I was trying to tackle him. I thought he had the ball, and the ball was on the other side of the field." And so it was just like I mean, come on, Mac Jones, are you sure you weren't just mad that he strip sacked you?
Well, the
sure
big
you weren't just trying to get a little revenge.
Another thing is that the Patriots, man, I mean, they did beat the Chargers and we lost to the Chargers. So there's that. But they did play the Chargers later in the season while we played them earlier in the season. But outside the Chargers, Patriots really haven't beat anybody for real.
Well, I mean, they
lost to the Dolphins
pretty badly. Well, that was week 1, though. The Saints beat the Packers 38-3 week 1.
Being the Panthers for the Patriots is the equivalent of us beating the Broncos. If not worse. And the Broncos not even our best win. All I'm saying is that this is a very beatable Patriots team. Now, granted,
it's a much more beatable Patriots team than in years past. But I wouldn't say this is the kind of team that you should sleep on. Don't forget they almost beat the Cowboys, and that was back before the Cowboys looked like pretenders by losing to the Broncos.
I mean, that's true. I mean, okay. So here's where I'm at on this. Patriots, good team, great team, but I really think the Browns are clicking right now. I think that I think that they're going to try and make Baker Mayfield beat them, which is going to be fun. I want to see how Baker Mayfield can continue to grow ever since losing he that should not be named. It will be a struggle considering the fact that we don't have Chubb, but Dearness Johnson is still a very good running back. And it's not just the fact that Dearness Johnson is a great running back, it's the offensive line that we have. The Browns have a hell of an offensive line, and one of the reasons why we're able to have so much running success is because of one man named Wyatt Teller and his ability to block. So the Browns have great blockers, and they have great ways to run that ball up the middle, to the side, whatever. So get ready to get ran all over, Bill Belichick. We're not afraid of you. And I'm just really excited. I just think that Kevin Stefanski is just coaching at a very high level right now. Honestly, ever since the Broncos game, you take away the Steelers game, but that Broncos game and this game and last week, Kevin Stefanski's been coaching. It's like he's been getting better. And I listened to an interview with John Johnson, and he's been talking about how Kevin Stefanski challenged the team every week, and they get better every week. He doesn't stay complacent. He always challenges the team to get better. This is a team that have a lot of growing to do, and this is a team that is growing. This is a team that does have a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum going forward. I'm not worried in this game at all. Now, I do think the Patriots are a good team. I think it's going to be a good game. But I think the Browns going, again, for the second week in a row, going to turn a lot of heads.
So, the main thing about Dearness Johnson is Dearness Johnson had a big game against the Denver Broncos. The New England Patriots have a much better defense than the Denver Broncos, especially lately.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, the New England Patriots got great defense. I got them in fantasy. Well, my fantasy league. Not this one, but the other one. No, actually, this one, right? Yeah, I do. Actually, yeah. Trust me, I know.
I think a big key for what the Browns can do against the Patriots this week is you think about that big blowout win that the Browns had against the Bengals last week, right? Mm-hmm. A big reason for that blowout win was because of all the turnovers. The Patriots are not really turning the ball over this year much at all. They're one of the best teams in the NFL at protecting the football. In fact, they've only turned the ball over 10 times total this year. So that's something that I don't think the Browns are really going to be able to rely on to make big things happen. And I mean the Patriots have been the Browns have only scored more than 30 points once this season in a win.
I mean, twice. Oh, and a win. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, you're right. You know, it just
Now,
matters what
I
kind of
will
offense
say,
you see.
though, the Patriots have only scored more than 30 points once this season as well.
Yeah.
And that was against the Jets. So
We just gotta see how the offense go. We gotta see if the offense keep clicking. The offense did look good on Sunday. But but you can't rely on big plays every single. You can't rely on big plays every single snap. I will tell you, Baker looked good on Sunday. If Baker throwing like they're throwing on Sunday, the Browns be more than fine. But I really do think that Myles Garrett is going to rattle Mac Jones this weekend. I think that's going to be the deciding factor. I think that's going to be what get them. And I just think that the Browns are going to be ready. Like I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of New England. I'm not afraid of nobody, honestly, in the NFL right now. I think the Browns could. I like this. I like the Browns schedule because the games line up in their favor to battle test them for the playoffs. So yeah.
the big concern I have with the Browns right now, again, I know y'all just whooped our asses, but I'm trying to remain a little objective here. I'm trying to analyze this from a more neutral standpoint here. The big concern I have with the Browns really is their consistency on offense. Now, I genuinely think that getting rid of Odell Beckham Jr. overall is going to benefit the Browns, so maybe some of the consistency will show up. But I will say the game they had against the Bengals was the first time they'd scored over 20 points in nearly a month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, are the Browns capable of putting down big games? They are. I don't know if they're going to do it against this Patriots defense. But then again, I would have said that against the Bengals defense, and look what happened there.
I don't think that they might. This Browns team can play you any kind of way. If you want to get in a low scoring battle, they could win a low scoring battle. They should have won a low scoring battle against the Steelers, but they could win a low scoring battle. They won a low scoring battle against the Minnesota Vikings. Looking at Kevin Stefanski's history, the past 3 years, or the past 2 years, as I should say. Mm-hmm. While he was the offensive coordinator with the Vikings, and while he was a coach with the Browns, one thing that's very comparable what he does is he's a very second half coach. You oftentimes see these offenses in Minnesota and with the Browns last year take off in the second half of the season. Now that we're in the second half of the season, the offense seems to click more. They start to figure out what works more in the system, starts to get inbred more. And I think that continuity is going to catch up with the Browns, and you're going to start seeing more persistent play, because that's just the way Kevin Stefanski rolls. He is a second half coach, and I think that you're going to start seeing in the second half of the season the Browns' offense become more consistent. Not because they got rid of Odell Beckham, but because that's just how Kevin Stefanski rolls. He's going to start rolling out more. He's going to start rolling out. He's probably going to start rolling out better game plan, and he's going to probably have a better philosophy going into the season, going to the rest of the season.
One thing Baker Mayfield's going to have to pay attention to, and I think this is part of why it's advantageous that y'all got rid of Odell Beckham Jr. when you did, is Baker Mayfield's going to need to protect the ball this week. The Patriots have the most interceptions in the NFL of any team this year, with 13 so far. So, I've said before that I think a big part of the reason why Baker Mayfield was throwing a lot of interceptions is because he was trying to force the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. Now, hopefully, he has more of a thought process about trying to spread the ball out, and maybe he can protect the football a little bit better. But the thing is, if you make a mistake against this Patriots defense, they're going to make you pay for it.
How many interceptions do you have on the year so far?
Baker, I'm not sure. I remember he was like a couple weeks ago when we looked it up. He was close to Joe Burrow. Baker
Mayfield has 8 touchdowns to 3 interceptions right now.
He only has 3 interceptions?
Yeah.
What was
he hasn't been. That's what I've been saying. Like during the whole thing. He doesn't have a lot of touchdowns, but he hasn't been turning the ball over for real.
Okay, well then that helps him out a lot against the Patriots defense.
He hasn't been turning the ball. In fact, since playing the Kevin Stefanski's offense, Baker Mayfield have only had 11 interceptions
That's impressive.
So I'm like, even his bad games, he haven't really been throwing a lot of interceptions. But he did have a few fumbles. He had a couple fumbles against the Cardinals though. So he did turn the ball over a couple times.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know off the top of my head. Well, I mean, I could probably actually look this up real quick. What the Patriots defense is doing as far as creating fumbles. So let's see.
But knowing Bill Belichick, he probably won't go for Baker Mayfield's shoulder and try and do a cheap shot on him. Bill Belichick's, Isn't that something that he would do?
I don't know if he would explicitly tell his players to do that. This isn't Sean Payton. Okay, so the Patriots currently have 2 forced fumbles on the season. So that's not a lot.
So all right, so before we get to that, before we get to the Bengals, can I say everything I need to say about the Browns? You need to say anything else about the Browns?
That's all I got to say about the Browns.
All right, so how you feel about Odell going to the Rams? I gotta ask.
How do I feel about Odell going to the Rams?
Yeah.
I don't understand what his thought process is. I mean, like, if Odell's thought process is like, I either want to be like the focal point of an offense or I want to win, then maybe I guess I kind of get it. I thought the Browns were doing fine, so why he would like be like, oh, we're not winning in Cleveland, and then like storming out because of that. It's like, they had a small, short stretch of not quite as great results, but I don't know. Maybe that's what he was going for. Because like, here's the thing: if he wants to compete for a Super Bowl, going to the Rams is a good opportunity to do that. But the problem is, you're going to be like, at best, the third, maybe fourth option in LA, and they just got rid of Deshaun Jackson because Deshaun Jackson was upset about not getting enough targets. So I don't quite understand fully the logic of him going to the Rams. It's like, I feel like he could have gone to I feel like he could have gone to Green Bay and competed to be the number 2 receiver there. I mean, like, I think he's probably better than Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He's probably better than Equimanius St. Brown. He's not better than Devontae Adams. But I don't think anybody is questioning that. I thought the Raiders might have been a good opportunity, but maybe he doesn't believe in their ability to win going forward. There was a lot of talk about the Chiefs, but maybe again he doesn't believe in their ability to win going forward. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I thought the Green Bay Packers would have been a good destination for him, considering the competition for touches there is going to be a lot less than the competition for touches in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a weird choice for him.
Yeah. See, my thing is that Matthew Stafford, he can obviously make plays for Odell Beckham. Look at what he did for Calvin Johnson and the plays that the chemistry that he had with Calvin Johnson. Yeah. I'm with you, man. You're talking about an offense that is dominated by Cooper Kupp, right? So, like, what, so, like, did you really solve your problem? Now, I said, like, I think that if this is just a 1-year thing, if he's just in Los Angeles just for the season and then go on a playoff run and he's there and he's a part of it, fine. I think he'd be okay. But I think long-term, I don't think that this would be a good long-term project for Odell Beckham. I might be wrong.
Well, it's definitely not a good long-term solution for him. But, like, sure. I don't know how long he signed for. Maybe it was just a 1-year deal. And if it's just a 1-year deal, then I guess whatever. You go get some touches, you get some tape on there, and maybe you get a ring in the process. But then again, I don't know if, like, if ring chasing is what you're doing, I don't know if I think the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl.
I think we have better luck. I think we have better luck with the Packers. I think we have better luck with the Packers. Honestly, I think
the Packers have a chance.
No, I think he would have had better luck with the Packers.
Oh, you thought he would have had better? Yeah, he would have had. The Rams and the Packers were 2 of his top choices, and I definitely think that, like, the Packers would have been a much better, like I mean, I think probably the favorite for who's going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl right now is the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
So, I
think the reason why you chose
maybe the Packers would be a decent number 2. The Rams, just a really weird choice to me. Like, considering what he's going for. Now,
obviously
the Rams probably or the Cardinals probably didn't come calling, but
let's be real. let's be real. We all know why he's picked the Rams. The reason why he picked the Rams is because he wanted to have because he wanted to have his cake and eat it too. Odell told the Los Angeles guy, he was like, I want to be. He's not going to say this publicly. He's not going to say, I wanted to be in the spotlight. He didn't want to go to another Midwest town. He wanted to go to a city that he could put his name on it. He's going to say, yeah, I did the Midwest thing. Yeah, you're like, no, let's be real. Let's be real. He's a glamour guy. He's somebody who wants a spotlight. He's somebody who was upset when the Browns played the Los Angeles Rams and he didn't get enough touches. He didn't get in the spotlight during that game. He's a guy that wants the attention. And that's fine. You can be like that. And that's what he did. That's exactly what he went for. He went to LA.
How'd that work out for him in New York, though? I mean, like in his rookie year, it worked fine. But is he chasing the success of his rookie year? Like, that's just not good.
I think he wants the attention. I think he went to LA for the glamour. I think that he chose LA because LeBron's out there, the money out there for commercials and the entertainment value, all that stuff. That's why he chose LA for the story. Man, you got to realize they're entertainers, man. They're athletes, but they're entertainers. People like Wyatt Teller and Joe Patonio, right? They make football decisions. They're making the best decisions for their family, right? So whether they're offensive linemen in LA or Cleveland, it's not gonna make a difference because they're offensive linemen. So for him, he's a receiver. He's a star receiver. So if he could be a star receiver in LA, he could be more marketable.
But he chose Louisiana for college.
Well, his home is different. I don't know. I really do think that he just wanted to be in the spotlight.
Why didn't he just go to the Saints?
I think it was a spotlight thing.
Nah.
I think it was a spotlight thing. I think it was a spotlight thing.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to these Bengals. So the Bengals, looking like one of the hottest teams in the NFL, and then they lost to the Jets, and then they got demolished by the Browns in their own home stadium. And so, like, those good feelings, yeah, fuck you, Thomas. Those good feelings are just kind of like not really there anymore. I mean, even for people like me who are still optimistic about the potential for this season, you still don't have those good feelings anymore. It's like, the whole like hot start thing is pretty much gone now. Like, I mean, you're half a game over 500 now, because of 2 bad weeks, and it's just I chalk this up to a young team being a young team, and all the pitfalls that come along with that. But at the same time, it's like, you just look back on that Jets game. There's so many missed opportunities to actually come away with that game. And with the Browns game, it was still, as bad of a blowout as that was, you can really chalk it up to a few missed opportunities. Especially because one of those plays was a 14-point swing.
Yeah, it was.
So I mean, the fact of the matter is you've got this team that squandered really good positioning, and you're starting to wonder now, what are they going to do the rest of the season? So I think, Thomas, that they're actually still in relatively good position going forward. There's been a lot made about the second half of the Bengals schedule and how tough the opponents are. But I mean, I just maybe by preseason standards, maybe by like week 3 standards, but I mean, just
no, I agree with you. I think this buy for the Bengals came at the right time. But I think this buy for the Bengals came at the right time. I don't think that they're a bad team at all. Like you said, the Bengals are playing in the AFC, in a very crowded AFC right now. The AFC is very crowded, and there's a lot of teams that are even. But I think that a lot of these teams are going to start to expose themselves. Y'all have the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders are going to be as good as the Raiders were earlier in the season. I think they're going to start to tail off as the season goes on. Too much drama.
All the drama, and they just lost to the Giants.
Exactly.
I mean, you want to talk about the Bengals losing to the Jets. The Giants are probably worse.
And I speculated that on predictions. I said, how long until this drama catch up with them? And then I speculated, it's gonna come. It's gonna happen. And it's starting to happen. I don't think that the Raiders are gonna be able to have the horses to beat y'all. The Steelers, I think they're gonna sweep the Steelers at home. The Chargers, I don't think the Chargers are as good as they were at the beginning of the season. The 49ers are a very beatable team. The Broncos are a very beatable team. The Ravens are already beat. The Chiefs are a very beatable team, and I don't think the Browns are going to sweep y'all. I really do think that y'all only going to lose like 2 more games for the rest of the season. The problem with the Bengals right now, the biggest problem with the Bengals though, and it's not Joe Burrow, but it's Joe Burrow's turnovers. And you're not going to like this. You're not going to like hearing this from me, Kyle. You're going to hate me saying this.
Say it.
But not having an offensive lineman, not driving an offensive lineman is kind of biting y'all in the butt. I'm not saying having Jamar Chase isn't the problem.
What the hell
Jamar
does
Chase
that
is
have
great.
to do with Joe Burrow's interceptions?
Because he's getting demolished. That's why.
That's his own fault. That's not the offensive line's fault. If you look up the pass blocking efficiency for all the Bengals teams, for all the Bengals players, the tackles are doing great, and the interior linemen are, roughly about average with the rest of the NFL. Joe Burrow has been having this issue where he's just like scrambling around and holding on to the ball way too long. He's basically trying to do too much lately, and
so
he's making a few bad decisions. He's having some crazy plays where where the ball gets tipped. Although in some of those plays, it's just like he shouldn't have been throwing it at that position in the first place. But I would say that Joe Burrow adjusting to the way that NFL defenses work is probably more responsible for the sack numbers right now than the offensive line.
All right.
I don't think the offensive line is a problem. The only thing that's weird right now is I'm not sure why Jackson Carman, we're playing Trey Hill right now at right guard instead of Jackson Carman, and I'm not entirely sure why, because Jackson Carman was playing fine. But the offensive line, people, especially in the national media, people wanted to take the lazy route on this, Joe Burrow thing, and they were like, "Look at the offensive line." And it's like, it's really not the offensive line's fault. Tackle was not the problem. You go draft Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater, then great, you got a tackle. But right now, tackle's not the problem.
All right,
we have a bit of an interior offensive line problem, but we drafted an interior offensive lineman.
All right, all right, you know what, Cal? I'm gonna take your advice. I think the Bengals are gonna be fine. For the record, I think they're gonna be fine. Tell everybody in my section, y'all be fine. They're gonna go back. They're gonna regroup. They're gonna beat the Raiders. Y'all be fine. Y'all be fine. Y'all gonna probably blow out the Raiders. Actually, coming out of that bye.
I don't know about that, but especially considering we have to go to the West Coast, where typically the Bengals, not the West Coast, but near the West Coast, where typically the Bengals don't do quite as well when they have to travel all the way to the West Coast like that. I do think the Bengals will probably win because, like you said, the Raiders are kind of in disarray right now, and it's not like the Browns allegedly being in disarray because of Odell Beckham Jr. Honestly, I think that just motivated them, and then it got them to rally around each other. More so than actually knocked them off there. But the Raiders are clearly kind of knocked off their stride. I think they rallied around the whole John Gruden thing, but then the Henry Ruggs thing happened. And then obviously their passing game was affected and they went out and lost the Giants. Now the whole Damon Arnett thing's happened. And we'll see how that affects them this week against the Chiefs. Probably not as much because Damon Arnett wasn't exactly lighting it up, starting a bunch of games or anything like that. But still, I don't feel that it's more with the whole Damon Arnett thing. It's more of the amalgamation of all of the craziness, more so than Damon Arnett himself actually having a huge impact on their lack of chemistry. But as far as the rest of the Bengals schedule goes, I kind of agree with you. You said you were going through that schedule and you said we might only lose 2 games. But my thought process here is I'm looking at the schedule, like you said. You've got a Steelers team who's, as we say at the beginning of every episode, and it's still true, they still suck. They needed so much help from the refs that the national media is actually recognizing how badly the Bears got screwed in that game. Like, I mean, people are when the Steelers are getting so obviously helped by the refs that the national media admits it. That's when you know it's bad because they usually just ignore it. But you got the Steelers who suck. You got the Chargers who don't quite look like the same team. You've got the Raiders who are kind of floundering right now. You got the San Francisco 49ers who are, not really much of anything to worry about right now. And that one's a home game. You got the Denver Broncos who might honestly be outside of the Ravens, the Broncos might be the toughest team left on the schedule if they're the same. If they are as good as they showed against the Cowboys. Now, if that was a fluke, then that should be an easy win for the Bengals. But if that wasn't a fluke, then that one might be a tough game. Ravens, Bengals already blew them out. So, I mean, I'm not going to chalk that one up as a win just yet. But I will say that why can't we do it, especially since that one's at home?
I think you're going to start seeing the Ravens collapse. I said that before.
You got the Kansas City Chiefs who've been collapsing all season. And then you got the Cleveland Browns who obviously just whooped our asses. But it's going to be week 18. Right. Yeah, it's week 18. You got a much more refined Bengals team. You got a Bengals team that's going to be looking for revenge after getting embarrassed. I really don't see any of these games that I think the Bengals are definitely going to lose. I do see a few pitfalls here. I'm not super 100% confident that we're going to sweep the Ravens. I think that Denver game could be a little tough. Maybe the Chargers game could be tough. You never know what's going to happen with the Browns because I didn't think there was any chance of y'all blowing us out, and that happened. So I can't really hyper project that too much. But at the end of the day, I don't see. I would be shocked if we come out of that schedule and we haven't won 5 of those 8 games. And so if we win 5 of those 8 games, that's 10-7. We're definitely in the playoffs if we're 10. I guarantee you we make the playoffs if we're 10-7. Especially because a lot of those teams that will be competing for that playoff spot are going to beat
each other.
They're going to beat each other up. But if we beat them to get to 10-7, then we're going to have the tiebreaker.
Okay. I really do think that. I really think that you guys don't. I really think you guys got a whole season in front of y'all, just like the Browns. You play your own destiny. The season is only halfway over. Yeah, have a good time. Being 5, you said if we said that at this time of the year the Bengals would be 5-4. A lot of Bengals fans would sign up for that. The Bengals are exactly where they need to be. Yeah. They are exactly what they need to be. You should not play your best football in November. You should be playing your best football in December and January. Mm-hmm. And I can't stress that point enough. So yeah, I think the Bengals are going to be fine.
Well, I will say I think that's the thing about this particular Bengals team is it's like I've always kind of said it's always kind of annoyed me about the Bengals because under Marvin Lewis, part of the reason that I think we made it playoffs all those years and lost in the playoffs all those years is because we mainly hit our stride in the middle of the season, and that's at the beginning and in the middle of the season is usually when we played our best. It was like we always were collapsing at the end, so it never really came as that much of a shock when we lost in the playoffs because it was just kind of like that's kind of how the Bengals had been playing lately. So, I guess the thing is, if you're gonna have a bad run, then a bad run right before the bye week in the middle of the season when you still have plenty of games left to play, especially if you're a young team, that's the time to do it. You can't win them all.
I think that last year Zach Taylor showed us that he could win later in the season when he ended the Steelers dynasty with Finley. I think y'all be fine.
Yep.
I think y'all be more than fine.
I definitely
that bye week's gonna help out.
Yeah, I think like you said, I think the bye week comes at a good time because Because they need to hit the reset button. It's like, it's like in a computer code, where like when your computer starts acting up, an IT professional will tell you try turning it off and turning it back on. Because what happens in the computer code, you have like these errors that pop up with your computer running for too long all at one time. So when you hit the reset button, it reloads all that code the way it was intended to run. So all of those errors naturally get kind of pushed out of the way. And the same thing I think happens with a football team is like over the course of a season, you have like all of these like things pop up that kind of like, like get in the way of what you're trying to do. So you have that bye week, and hopefully what you can do with that bye week is kind of like hit the reset button and get a lot of those errors out so you can get back to the game plan and pay more attention to the game plan.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I need to take a second to tell you about NordVPN real quick. I'm sure you've all heard about it because they're everywhere, and it's for a good reason. This is the absolute best, sleekest, and easiest to use VPN out there. Trust me, I've used a few different VPN services for various reasons, and this is the one that I settled on because honestly, it's, like I said, it's the sleekest and easiest to use. It takes 10 seconds to just, go get it set up, get connected, and get yourself on a new server somewhere around the world. And then you have access to all of these regionally blocked things. And in addition to that, I personally get a little weirded out by everyone with the basic knowledge of systems and hacking having access to my information. So it's really nice to have, a kind of a buffer between that too. There's also a wide world of regionally blocked content out there that's, the only reason you're not able to access it is because you live in a certain country where this stuff isn't available. So, one service I really like is called NFL Game Pass International. It's meant for the international community. It's not available in the United States. But if you're a United States citizen and you use NordVPN to go connect to, I usually use the Ireland or the Brazil server. And, suddenly I'm connected and I'm able to watch all these games. You can use basically any country where the service is actually available. Then I pull up the broadcast, sit back, watch the game. Any game. They have all of the NFL games throughout the entire season on this service. And then you also get access to all the normal NFL Game Pass stuff too. So, replays, all 22, the kind of stuff that's, some people just enjoy having NFL Game Pass for in the first place. I do exactly that every Monday and Thursday night when we do our live streams, where, me and Thomas make our predictions or talk about the predictions that we made. And we do it during the Monday night and Thursday night games where we're watching the game and reacting. And the way that I have access to that is I have an NFL Game Pass International. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to leave a link down below in the description. And if you go click that link, it'll take you to NordVPN's website, and it'll automatically get you 69% off your first 3 months for free. That's only $3.67 a month, guys. For, all the wide world of access and, protection that VPNs give you, I think you can spare $3.67 a month. To me, that's a really good deal. And not only, if you go do that, it helps support our channel, and like I said, helps you guys get access to the best VPN network out there. Seriously, I really recommend it. So go down on the link in that description and get 69% off your first 3 months of NordVPN for free. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on then. I want to talk about this fantasy league.
Oh yeah, let's get in this fantasy league.
Get into a little bit of a preview of what we're expecting to see in these upcoming matchups. Did you set your lineup yet this week, Thomas? Because it is Thursday.
Yeah, no, I'm setting my line right now for my other fantasy league, but let me do it for this fantasy league too.
Yeah, right now you're expected to. Ooh, you definitely need to. You got Devontae Parker, Demetric Felton, and Latavius Murray all in. I think we talked about this on the last episode.
Oh, let me take Devontae Parker out real quick. That's what I need to do.
All three of those. You need to take all three of those out.
Well, I need to take Devontae Parker out before the game starts.
Well, sort of. He's on IR, so I mean, I don't know. I guess just go ahead and do it anyway.
Yeah, I just did it.
Maybe put Donovan Peoples-Jones in. I don't know.
Yeah, I should definitely put Donovan Peoples-Jones in. Holy shit! I just got him just chilling there.
So I mean, this could be a really big game for you, Thomas. Because if you win this, then you're right back in. You're right back in this fight. Because that would put you at 5-5, just like the Browns.
I'll take it. I got to start Ronald Jones the third. You suck, Ronald. Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, he has not been having the best season with Tampa Bay.
I got too many ballers on my team for me to. Damn, I have nothing to do on running back. Like who's gonna be my running back?
You might have to go pick up somebody on the waiver wire.
Like these are my running backs: Kareem Hunt, Demetri Felton, Latavius Murray,
yeah,
and Ronald Jones. Those are my running backs. That's it.
Or you could go pick up Devontae Freeman, J.D. McKissick.
One's on COVID, one's on IR, and two are out.
Brandon Bolden. But then again, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Joe Mixon had a decent day against the Browns last week, right? So maybe Brandon Bolden could have a decent day this week.
Yeah, I don't know. My team's screwed. All right, so what do you guys say about the fantasy league?
Well, that was the first one. The first thing that I mainly had to say is you need to go ahead and set your lineup because you are expected to get crushed.
Well, I took out Latavius Murray and yeah.
I am projected to win, which should catapult me to the number 2 seed because either Jordan Heiser or Michael Dorsey is. Oh, wait, no, they're not going up against each other. Right now, actually, Jordan Heiser is projected to lose to the bot. So go bot. That would be good for me. And then Michael Dorsey is expected to beat Jan Romero. He's expected to be the one who beats off in church this week.
You know, good for him. Good for him.
I might have to hit Jan up and be like, Jan, set your damn lineup.
So you saying Jan might be off in church today?
No, Jan is off in church.
Okay, I got you.
I guess I think he might have set his lineup because he has Nick Chubb on his team. He just he had to bench him because he's got COVID.
Oh, well, I hope Jan gets better.
No. Nick Chubb has COVID.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope he gets better too.
He hasn't put a defense in, so that might be part of the problem. I think Michael Dorsey would probably still be projected to win this game, even if Jan does put a defense in. But I need your help, Jan. Starting David Njoku. You think David Njoku is going to have a good game against the Patriots?
Yeah.
No, there you go.
Yeah, go for it. Why not?
Vote of confidence from Thomas.
Yeah, why not?
So this league, let's see who is currently in control of a playoff spot. You got Jordan Heiser, you got Ian Plank, you got Debbie Morgan, you got me, and you got Cameron Matthew. So Thomas, actually, you might. Let's see. I'm not actually quite sure about this. You might be able to if you win your game this week. You might be able to vault yourself into a playoff spot.
Awesome.
Because you'd be beating the guy who's currently in control of the number 6 seed.
All right, that excites me. That excites me a lot.
I don't know if you would end up having like the final tiebreaker or anything.
I think I could do it.
But well, I mean, if not this week, I'm sure you could. Like if you win this week and next week, then I'm sure you'd be okay that way.
Watch out for this comeback season.
There you go. All right.
I'm actually gonna pick up Anthony Short's model league, and I started because I got a bold confidence for this guy.
So let's move on to the state of the AFC North. What the fuck, Steelers? Like, could you at least try to hide the whole ref thing? Like, could you at least not be so obvious about the fact that you got every single referee on the planet in your back pocket, and that the NFL obviously has some sort of stake in the Pittsburgh Steelers winning? I can't figure out why. Maybe it's because they have a cool logo. I don't know. But the NFL seems to have some sort of, like, deep state conspiracy to try to insist that the Pittsburgh Steelers win football games. And that is, I know that sounds like a ridiculous thing to say, but how else are you supposed to explain what happened against the Steelers and Bears? The Chicago Bears. This was almost as bad. Actually, optically, it was worse than the Ravens-Lions game. But I mean, as far as the actual outcome, I'm almost, now I'm not quite there, but I'm almost at the point where where like I've been saying the Ravens lost to the Lions all season, and that should count in the standings. I'm almost to the point where I'm saying that about the Steelers. It's not quite the same, because with the Ravens and Lions game, it was an obvious single play at the very end of the game that the bad call literally changed the outcome of the game. And if they had made the call correctly, then the Ravens would not have been able to hit that field goal, and they would have not won the game. The Steelers, on the other hand, it was a series of bad calls throughout the game, and at the end of the day, they found a way to win. And it wasn't quite as obvious, so I'm not sure I'm quite there ready to say that the Steelers should be counted as losing to the Bears. But as far as like how I respect that team goes, I've not that I respect the Steelers anyway, but I did not gain any respect for them for winning this game. It reminded me of so many of the wins they had last year, where they were beating these bad teams barely, and everybody was like, "Oh, the Steelers are so good," because everybody's used to the Steelers being good, so they take any sign of the Steelers being good as proof that the Steelers are still good, and they're not. They barely beat the Bears.
They might lose this week.
Wouldn't that just be hilarious if the first win that the Detroit Lions get in 2021 is against the Pittsburgh Steelers? That would be great. I'm all here for that.
No,
I am
like
100% all for that.
Like I did when I said that. Like, I know you cracked up, but like there's legit reason to think why the Lions might win this week. And I was thinking about this. So all right, so here's my reasoning. For one, this Lions team, they're very scrappy. They're very scrappy. Excuse me, they do have weapons on this team, like DeAndre Swift, who is on my fantasy team. I'm a big fan of him, so I really do think that he's been he could break out any game. He break out any moment in the game. 22-year-old is very explosive and very fun to watch. He's coming off the injury, so he should be so they should be getting him back this week, from what I'm hearing. So he should be good. So you have him. The Steelers have a reputation of playing down to their opponent, and they have a reputation of overlooking people. I think that comes with Mike Thomas' attitude. I know Mike Thomas is a great coach and all, but I think that oftentimes Steelers play down to their opponent, and that's something they do. So, so with that said, the Lions are a team that has Jared Goff, and they're a team that have DeAndre Swift, two players that can beat them. They did just barely beat the Bears. I just think that there's wiggle room for the Lions to score on the Steelers. Now, if the Lions offense get going on the Steelers defense, then the Steelers will lose, because the Steelers have proven that they cannot score points, and not that they can't score points on. It's not that the Steelers can't score points on good teams or bad teams, that they can't score points on anybody. The Steelers just literally cannot score points in this NFL. They're struggling with scoring points. This Lions team, they get hot, man. I don't know. I look at that over under. What was the spread, like 44 points, something crazy like that? I don't know, man. I'm just saying. Jared Goff is a scrub.
I would be shocked if the Lions actually won. But at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked, because, like, honestly, like, the Steelers are trash. Like, they just are. Like, they are so much worse than what their record indicates. Like, people are like, they're winning games, but, like, if any other team in the NFL was winning games like this, everybody would be like, are they frauds? Like, I mean, it's just the amount of, like, benefit of the doubt people give the Pittsburgh Steelers is just sickening. It's like every single member of the national media is a Steelers fan at heart. It's sickening. Like, the Steelers are not a good football team. You know who will tell you that? Most Steelers fans.
Yeah, they would.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Most Steelers fans are at least, like as much shit as I give Steelers fans, most of them admit that the Steelers are not a good football team right now. So how the national media can't wrap their heads around it is insane to me.
I mean, the Steelers fans are like it, and they're somewhat realistic sometimes.
Sometimes depends on the Steelers fan. Like
Yeah.
one of my favorite YouTubers, Urinating Tree, is pretty good for it.
Is Urinating Tree?
His name is Urinating Tree.
I thought you were saying that like there's a urinating tree and it's a Steelers fan. So
No. His name on YouTube is Urinating Tree.
why do he be urinating on trees?
Well, because his quarterback is an ancient oak tree. Ancient immobile oak tree. And he talks a lot of shit about Ben Roethlisberger, so I mean, that might count.
All right, like you would say. Moving on. You suck, Pittsburgh.
The Ravens play the Dolphins tonight. So me and Thomas did confirm. I believe we made our predictions on the Monday recap episode, but just to
I would love
confirm-
for the Dolphins to win. I would love for the Dolphins to win, but let's be real here.
Yeah, I mean, we're being realistic. Like, I mean, we're talking about, like, if we're betting on the game, who do we actually think is going to win? And it's like, I'm rooting my ass off for the Dolphins to prove me wrong. But I don't see it. Like, Lamar Jackson, as much shit as we give him, is playing at an MVP level right now. And the Miami Dolphins, as an organization, I'm not sure we'll win another football game with Brian Flores as their head coach.
They might keep it close, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe. I could see that, but at the end of the day, I don't see them winning. Boy, how great would that be if they did, though? How great would that be if both the Ravens and Steelers lost to trash opponents this week? That would just be fantastic. That would make like right now the Ravens kind of look like they're pulling away with the division. But if they lose, if both them and the Steelers lose this week, then that puts the Bengals and Browns like one game behind the lead of the AFC North.
Oh, it'll probably be a fun weekend, dude.
Well, assuming the Browns beat the Patriots, but still.
Well, I mean, I honestly do. I mean, the Browns played the Ravens twice still this year, so I mean, the Browns could really well come back on the Ravens.
All right,
they could. Watch out, man. Because the Browns,
could.
the Browns beat the Patriots, and then they got the Lions, and they play the Ravens back to back with a bye. I mean, say what you want, man, but the Browns will have an opportunity to really put the Ravens away and pass the Ravens if they win a back to back weeks. That might be tough, but if they do it, I mean,
I'm just.
It's there for them to do.
I'm struggling.
Let's do it.
I'm struggling to see a path to victory for the Browns this week. But we can talk more about that. I mean, we've talked about that enough on the main episode of the podcast, or the main segment of the podcast, and we can talk about that maybe a little bit more when we do our predictions later today. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Battle of Ohio podcast, guys. Thank you so much for listening. You can always catch more of what I do at Kyle Phelps 92 on Twitter, Facebook.com/ThePhelps. I got a YouTube channel that's going now that right after me and Thomas are done recording this, I'm going to record another episode of that show. It's called Welcome to the Jungle with Kyle Phelps, but the YouTube
Welcome
channel
to the jungle.
Exactly. But the name of the channel is just Kyle Phelps because I'm uncreative. So
I mean,
you can find more of what Thomas does at T_star94 on Twitter and Instagram. And check him out on YouTube at the Thomas J Network, which is where you can also find him on TikTok.
The TJN.
Yeah, puts out a lot of good content on there. You guys definitely want to go check that out.
Just passed 4,000 followers.
There you go. See, somebody on the come up.
I got some videos that I'm working on from this podcast that I'm editing right now, actually, in the process of editing to put on my channel. So I'm really excited about that. I got some cuts I want to do to campaign this podcast. I'm really excited about incorporating this podcast into my entertainment channel and everything. So yeah, like exciting.
You can find you can also find clips of this podcast on my YouTube channel. In addition to Bengals like previews and recaps, and also the power rankings that I do for ATB Network at atbnetwork.com. So y'all want to go check that out.
He does a great job.
Time on there.
He does a great job.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Tom. I cannot talk.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Thomas.
Well, you can't say my name because you people on freaking Kentucky can't announce anything. Calling Louisville Laville. Weird ass mother. Y'all weird.
It's Louisville. It's not Laville. It's not Louisville. It's Louisville.
I can't say that. You know why I can't say that? Because I ain't from the freaking South.
Because you don't know how to pronounce things that, like I said, the people from the city get to decide how it's pronounced.
Y'all the only people in the entire world who pronounce it that way. Just saying.
Well, you know what? They're the ones who are from they're the ones who live there. I'm pretty sure they get to decide what it's called.
All right, I live with Khalid even.
Well, okay, but I'm pretty sure most other people in Cleveland don't call it that.
No, I'm calling it Khalid even. You say I'm not Khalid even enough to call it Khalid even?
Well, I'm saying not every single person in Cleveland calls it that.
Well, I'm calling it Khalid even.
That is the case for Louisville.
I'm with our campaign, man. What's our campaign gonna be called? Call the city whatever you want. Cut even.
All right, whatever. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. I'll catch you next time, and I'll leave y'all with a hoot eight.
Go Cleveland Browns.